Hello everyone, I'm here today with Kate Benson, International Director of NLP for
education.
For education. So it's a big honor to have you. We had you already in Slovenia and we were extremely satisfied and pleased, and now we are happy to welcome you back in 2019. So Kate, tell us a little bit about what are the main problems that teachers, educators, coaches are facing today? What are the main issues?
Well, I think that there's the issues, the same issues as they've always been, really. There are two major areas that seem to be perennial. The first is behaviour management. How do we actually make sure that children behave well enough in our classes so that they can start to learn? That's the big cry. I can't teach them anything because they behave so badly in my class. So that's one of the big challenges. And the other big challenge really is about beliefs. And we've been talking a lot today on, as we're here in London, about beliefs and limiting beliefs. And so often people don't achieve simply because they don't believe they can. So as teachers and as parents, we can do ever such a lot to help our children. And when I say children, I don't just mean little people. We're all learners. We keep learning. There's the same way we learn when we're a child, we learn when we're older, but sometimes we find it harder because we've had more knocks and we have more negative beliefs. When you're 5, you don't know, you can't do it, so you just do. Yeah. And we need to tap into that belief in ourselves, and as we keep trying, we'll get there. And I'm delighted to be coming back to Slovenia because it's one of the most beautiful countries I've ever been to.
Okay, wonderful. So tell us a little bit about success stories, because you go to schools, you help teachers and so on. What are the results with the kids?
Well, they can be really spectacular. One of the things that I like to do, or one of the things that seems to be helpful in schools, is to go in and look at where they're not being very successful. So I don't know, in Slovenia you have something equivalent to the SATs test, so children are standardised tests, and then each school has a set of results that they measure each other against, and teachers get very worried. And we can usually look at the SATs results and see that there's one area or another that people are finding difficult. So it might be the spelling is poorer, it might be that mathematics is poorer, doing really well. And so what I like to do is to go in and say, okay, what do you really need practical help with? Because the NLP work that we do is about practically helping learning and to help teachers to do it better. So we've been going into schools. I've been going into schools. My latest one, maths was good. They had a really good strategy for maths. In fact, I learned quite a lot about how to do maths from them. But the spelling was poor. So we don't mess about. We don't have to send people on long courses. We can just take them for a couple of hours, take the teachers, explain to them how it works, teach them to do what we do, maybe take a few classes and show the teachers how it works so that they get a practical demonstration, and off they go. And we saw a 60% improvement in scores out of 10 within 3 weeks.
Wow.
And the only, one or two children didn't improve, and we went back in and worked out what was happening with them.
So you worked with teachers, you work with kids?
I work with teachers, I work with children, I work with parents.
So you need to include all 3?
It's best if we can, because the thing is I think we're almost in a situation now where parents and teachers are not collaborating well enough. When I was a girl, many years ago, parents always sided with the teachers. It was like the teacher and the parents got together and they told you what you had to do. Now it's almost there's a little bit of antagonism. Why aren't you doing this with my child? Why isn't my child doing this? And it's good that the pendulum swung so that we're more supportive of children. But we also need to all work together so that parents and teachers support each other in the learning of their kids, because we know what a major impact parental attitudes have on success in the classroom.
So you're using NLP techniques to help kids, to help teachers, and to help parents in this triangle. It's actually the main idea how to solve and bring better results for kids in schools?
Yeah, absolutely. And what we've done with the project we did when we saw the 60% improvement, we thought, well, what's happening with the ones that aren't improving? And what we discovered was that to try and help, the teachers were sending the kids home to do some extra work with the parents, but we hadn't taught the parents how to do it.
Yes.
So the parents were doing their best,
and this is
but
true.
they were making mistakes.
I struggle many times. My son brings home some homework, and I look at that and I say, "How can I do that?" Yeah, it's true.
That's
You're
right.
right.
So we need classes. We can be creative. Slovenia invests heavily in education, which is wonderful, and invests in its people. And one of the things that you can do is to have family classes, for example, where we learn maths together, because chances are mum and dad's maths is not that great, they've forgotten, and they can learn along, and then they can help each other. And the best way, this is tip number one, the best way to learn something, to get better at something, is to teach somebody else it.
Wonderful.
So, we can all work together in that way, as you say, in that triangle.
Wonderful. So let's talk a little bit about parents as well.
Because
you are great in helping kids, and you are great helping teachers and parents, but what do you think is the main challenge that parents are facing today? What is the main problem or problems?
How can, well, so many, aren't there? I think one of the big challenges is IT and the internet. I think it's our rapid development in technology, and I'm not of the school that says we should stop children doing these things. I'm a great believer in IT and technology, but I do think that we need to be sophisticated about how we use technology with our children and how we allow them to use it, because we mustn't use it as a babysitting service, and we mustn't use it as to keep them quiet over dinner. Dinner is for dinner. Dinner is for conversation. IT might be for homework, or it may be for some entertainment or whatever, but it needs managing intelligently. And I think that's a big challenge for parents. I think the other thing is that through the internet, we've got almost a drive down in children's self-esteem. They see these perfect lives out there, or they think they're perfect, on the blogs and the vlogs and things, and they compare themselves to this perfect world rather than comparing themselves to the real world. So I think we can do a lot to help kids to understand that them competing with themselves, measuring themselves against their success, is important. And I have a little magic word for this. It's called yet. And when your child says, "Oh, I can't do that," or "I'm stupid," or I'll never be able to do this," you say, "That's right. You can't do that yet." And then you say, "Trust me, I know how to do this. I'm going to help you." Because it's much easier to trust somebody than to do battle.
Wonderful, wonderful. I actually, this year we had in Slovenia a project where we invited kids to learn NLP.
Oh,
and
wonderful.
It was a huge success, and many kids loved it, enjoyed it, and so on, and so much. Now you give us some advice for parents. Can you give us one advice for the kids as well?
Well, children are so diverse, aren't they?
True, that's true.
I think one of the things that children can learn is that when you feel frustrated and when you feel that you're stuck, that's the time to get really tenacious and to turn your frustration from frustration into determination. And when you turn it from frustration to determination, that's when you're going to succeed.
Wonderful. So Kate, it was a great privilege to have you. I invite everyone to send us any questions, comments, feedback, to share this video, to share this incredible advice. And I was impressed. I don't know if you remember this. When Kate was in Slovenia, we had a workshop for NLP for parents. And there was one question that one of the parents raised their hands, and she asked, what can I do with my daughter who is a teenager? And you said, and everybody was really quiet, and everybody was like, and I remember you said, don't worry, it will pass. Yeah.
Wait,
it will pass. Yeah, it will
just wait a few years.
Yeah. So I think many times that what I learned from you and how you use NLP is that you like the old-fashioned way of loving kids, giving them time and focus and energy, showing them some values and so on, and using the NLP techniques the way we learn it to their biggest advantage, and understanding they are different.
Yes, absolutely. I think I that's a beautiful summary. I think I am quite old-fashioned. I think the older I get, the more old-fashioned I get. I used to be quite young and radical at one time, but I think, structure, good values, unconditional love go so far. So far, and then we sprinkle a little bit of NLP in there and some techniques, and things get so easy.
So it was a privilege to have. Please look at your book, Teaching Excellence. You should mention the book.
Yes, please do. Yes, it's now out as an ebook on Amazon. It's called Teaching Excellence by Dr. Richard Bandler and myself, Kate Benson, and it's the definitive guide to NLP for teaching and learning.
So look at the book and maybe read it before Kate comes, so you have maybe some questions from the book. It's an incredible book about NLP, and probably one of the best books that gives you a structure in how you, and you have been writing this for 10 years.
Yes, it took a long time. We had to keep going, revisiting it, and but I think I'm very flattered that people have said that it is such a good NLP book, not just about teaching and learning.
True. It's an incredible book, so I highly recommend it. Go online, go on Amazon, buy it, and I look forward to hear your questions and maybe challenges that you have with kids or in the classroom. With you said that with behavior management in classroom.
Yes, yeah.
If you're a teacher and you have some challenges in the classrooms, what would you like to learn as a teacher? If you're a headmaster, what would you like to learn running a school? And maybe how to bring all these parents, kids, and teachers together and then to work together with them. So we have so many issues that we can help you solve, so that when Kate comes to Slovenia, we will be ready for you. So write us, send us your feedbacks, and thank you so much for watching. And Kate, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure.